Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Sideboard. Today we are going to continue with the second part of chapter learning. So before moving forward, we'll just have a quick recap of what all topics we covered in our last video. What is learning, features of learning, then types of learning like classical conditioning, operant conditioning, verbal learning, skill learning, and next topic was classical conditioning, which was the major topic of last video, and determinants of classical conditioning. So today we are going to start with operant and instrumental conditioning. So this conditioning was investigated by B.F. Skinner. Skinner was mainly interested in studying the occurrence of voluntary responses when an organism operates on an environment, and he called these responses as operants. So basically, operants are those behavior or responses which are emitted by animals and human beings voluntarily and are under their control. मीन्स ये बिहेवियर एक ह्यूमन बीइंग के कंट्रोल में होती है, वो अपने कंट्रोल में रह के ये बिहेवियर्स प्रेजेंट करते हैं. एंड दिस कंडीशनिंग ऑफ ऑपरेंट बिहेवियर इज कॉल्ड ऑपरेंट कंडीशनिंग. So to understand operant conditioning, Skinner ने एक experiment present किया. He conducted an experiment, and in his experiment he first developed a chamber which was known as Skinner box. So in this Skinner box, a hungry rat is placed in the chamber, which was built in a manner that the rat could not go out of the box. So this chamber consisted of a lever. So जब ये lever press होता था, the rat got a piece of food. That is, in the chamber there was a lever which was connected to the food container kept on the top of the chamber. So when the lever is pressed, a food pellet drops on the plate close to the lever. जैसे ही रैट ने लीवर प्रेस किया, द फूड यूज्ड टू ड्रॉप इन दैट प्लेट. सो व्हाइल मूविंग अराउंड एंड पॉइंट द वॉल्स, द hungry rat accidentally pressed the lever and the food drops in. So as the rat was exploring the box and he was moving around to see what actually the box is, he accidentally pressed that lever. It was just an accident behavior कि उसने वो lever press कर दिया and he got the food. So तब उसको समझ में आया दैट प्रेसिंग द लीवर गिव्स मी फूड. मीन्स अगर मैं लीवर प्रेस करूँगा तो दैट इज़ गोइंग टू गिव मी फूड. सो इन द नेक्स्ट ट्रायल्स, आफ्टर अ वाइल, द एक्सप्लोरेटरी बिहेवियर starts again, and after a number of trials, means after so many trials, the rat takes lesser and lesser time to press the lever. मीन्स उस बहुत सारे ट्रायल्स के बाद उसको समझ आ गया कि दिस लिवर इज़ गोइंग टू गिव मी फूड. बट द कंडीशनिंग इज़ फाइनली कंप्लीट व्हेन द रैट प्रेसेस द लीवर इमिजिएटली आफ्टर एंटरिंग द बॉक्स. जब वो एकदम से बॉक्स के अंदर घुसने पे ही वो लीवर प्रेस कर देता है, दैट मीन्स द कंडीशनिंग इज़ कंप्लीट एंड ही हैज़ फिगर आउट दैट द लीवर इज़ गोइंग टू गिव हिम द food. So this is also known as instrumental conditioning. Now a daily life example of instrumental conditioning can be that in a house, when our mother hides some favorite food in the kitchen, like some chocolate or some cookie, she hides it in the kitchen so that we can't figure it out, but we see that our chocolate or cookie is being kept there, and we know where are the objects kept in our kitchen. So we make a map in our mind कि कहाँ कहाँ jars and objects रखे हैं and हमारा सामान कहाँ रखा है. So that is known as mind mapping. We make a map of the kitchen or of the house, that where all the objects are kept. So like this we learn that where our favorite object is kept, and we have a habit to instantly go there and take it. Initially we'll find the cookie jar, that okay, where it is hidden, but later we'll discover that कहाँ कहाँ हमारी मॉम वो चीज़ छुपा सकती हैं. we'll find it out and then later instantly we'll go there and we'll take the cookie jar. So this is how in real life instrumental conditioning is being performed by us. Now next topic that comes is determinants of operant conditioning. The one major determinant of operant conditioning is reinforcer. Now, what is reinforcer? Reinforcer is defined as any stimulus or event which increases the probability of occurrence of a desired response. Means कोई एक ऐसा stimulus जो हमारा एक डिजायर्ड रिस्पॉन्स को इंक्रीज करता है, उस एक बिहेवियर को करने के लिए इंक्रीज करता है जब हमें वो चीज़ मिलती है. So now reinforcers has number of features, and there are basically 4 types of reinforcers, that are positive and negative reinforcers. Then the second type of reinforcers depend on the frequency. Then reinforcers also depend on the quality, that is superior or inferior. And the last type of reinforcer is schedule of reinforcement, means it depends on the schedule, on what or how reinforcement is being given to us. So the first type of reinforcement is positive reinforcement. Now, positive reinforcement involves the stimuli that have present consequences, and they strengthen and maintain the responses that have caused them to occur. Now, the word positive, it itself tells us that positive means कुछ अच्छा, something कुछ अच्छा मिलेगा हमें तो हम एक अच्छा behavior present करेंगे. So positive reinforcement is usually very effective with children. Positive reinforcers satisfy needs, which includes food, water, medals, praise, money, status, information, and etc. It's basically like basic biological needs, and it gives a sort of excitement for an individual to perform a behavior. Now, the second is negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcers involve unpleasant and painful stimuli. Now, these responses that lead to organisms to get rid of painful stimuli or avoid and escape from them provide a negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is something very painful, means हम उस चीज़ को avoid करना चाहते हैं, हम उस चीज़ से दूर भागना चाहते हैं. We don't want to have that thing. For example, in a class, when a teacher scolds us or insults us in front of the students, we try to avoid that behavior in which we are being insulted. Thus, negative reinforcement leads to the learning of avoidance and escape of the responses. Now, the second determinant that comes here is number of reinforcement and other features. It refers to the number of trials on which an organism has been reinforced or rewarded, and the amount of reinforcement means how much of the reinforcing stimuli is being given to the individual. Means कितने ट्रायल्स पे हमें reinforcement मिल रहा है, and it also consists of the quantity, कितना मिल रहा है हमें वो reward which affects the behavior of the individual. Quality of reinforcement refers to the kind of reinforcer. Now, for example, when our mother gives us a task to complete our homework, and she says that you will get a piece of cake if you complete your one subject's homework. So in that excitement, बच्चा जो है वो अपना एक सब्जेक्ट का होमवर्क कंप्लीट कर लेता है, एंड ही गेट्स अ स्मॉल पीस ऑफ केक. अब अदर सब्जेक्ट के होमवर्क कंप्लीट करने के लिए ही इज़ बीइंग रिवॉर्डेड विद बिगर पीस ऑफ केक. तो और बड़ा पीस लेने के लिए ही विल कंप्लीट ऑल हिज सब्जेक्ट्स homework so that he can receive a bigger piece of cake from his mother. So this in this case, the quantity of the piece of cake determines the amount of energy and excitement in the child to complete his homework. Now, the third determinant is schedules of reinforcement, which says that a reinforcement schedule is the arrangement of delivery of reinforcement during the conditioning of trials. And each schedule of reinforcement influences the course of conditioning in its own way, and thus the conditioned response occurs with differential characteristics. schedules of reinforcement basically means कि कितने gaps में हमें reinforcement मिल रहा है. Is it continuous or is it with some gap in installments? Such as there are two types of schedules of reinforcement, which includes continuous reinforcement and partial reinforcement. Now, what is continuous reinforcement? When a desired response is reinforced every time as it occurs, means हमें हर एक उस behavior के साथ हमें एक reinforcement मिल रहा है. Like if a child is completing his classwork in his notebook, every day he receives a toffee from his teacher. So that is continuous reinforcement, because every day on every work he is getting a toffee. But in partial reinforcement, it is when responses are sometimes reinforced in partial schedules. That is, the individual will not get reinforcement every time when he completes a work. He will get at some installments or only at some behavior. So this is partial reinforcement. The last determinant is delayed reinforcement, which says the effectiveness of reinforcement is dramatically altered by the delay in the occurrence of reinforcement. It is found that delay in delivery of reinforcement leads to proper level of performance. That is, जब हमें एक रिवॉर्ड या अवार्ड मिलने से डिले होता है, मीन्स वो चीज़ हमें नहीं मिलती आफ्टर एवरी परफॉर्मेंस, देन वी थिंक दैट ओके वी आर द रिवॉर्ड इज़ बीइंग इग्नोर और अवॉइडेड. तो हम उस चीज़ पे वर्क करना बंद कर देते हैं. वी डोंट हैव दैट एक्साइटमेंट टू डू दैट वर्क, बिकॉज वी थिंक कि अब हमें वो रिवॉर्ड नहीं मिल रहा है और मे बी आगे भी नहीं मिलेगा, तो व्हाट्स द यूज़ ऑफ giving that performance. So in this kind of reinforcement, the excitement of doing a work starts decreasing. So and as a result, the performance level also gets poor within a span of time. So it can be easily shown by asking children which reward they will prefer for doing some work. Some children prefer smaller rewards immediately after doing a work rather than bigger one, and some prefer having bigger rewards after doing a multiple compiled work. That depends on individual, but delayed reinforcement mostly leads to uh, poor results, and it leads to disinterest in an individual. So now we are going to talk about differences between classical conditioning and operant conditioning. In classical conditioning, the responses are under the control of some stimulus because they are reflexes, automatically elicited by the appropriate stimuli. That is, जो response होता है वो एक stimulus के control में होता है. For example, in the experiment given by Ivan B. Pavlov, जब bell बजती है, after that the dog salivates. So dog की salivation is in the control of the conditioned stimulus, that is the bell. Similarly, in operant conditioning, the responses are under the control of organism and are voluntary responses or operants. In operant conditioning, as we have studied in the experiment given by B.F. Skinner, जो responses होते हैं, that is in the control of the organism itself. Like, it is in the control of rat to get the food for himself. Rat जब खुद box को explore करता है, he explore the Skinner box, then he get to know about the liver, and liver press करते ही उसे खाना मिल जाता है. So it is his own voluntary response. So this is the first difference. Second is that in classical conditioning, the conditioned stimulus and unconditioned stimulus are well defined, whereas in operant conditioning, the conditioned stimulus is not defined. The third difference is that the experimenter controls the occurrence of unconditioned stimulus. Thus, the unconditioned stimulus in classical conditioning organism remains passive. Whereas in operant conditioning, the occurrence of reinforcer is under the control of organism that is learning the particular response. Thus, in operant conditioning, the subject have to be active in order to get reinforced. Which says that in classical conditioning, the experimenter के कंट्रोल में होता है अनकंडीशनल स्टिमुलस. कि कब डॉग सलाइवेट करेगा, दैट इज इन द कंट्रोल ऑफ एक्सपेरिमेंटर. सो डॉग डजंट हैव any control over his behavior, but in unconditioned stimulus, reinforcer is under the control of the organism. That is rat के हाथ में है कि इससे कब food मिलेगा कब नहीं. In first few trials he might not get the food, but after being conditioned, after various trial, he will understand that pressing the lever gives him the food. So that action is in the control of rat. Hence the reinforcer is also in the control of rat. Now we learn the key learning processes that are 5 major key learning processes, that are reinforcement, extinction, generalization, discrimination, and spontaneous recovery. So the first major learning process is reinforcement. So as we have read it earlier also, reinforcement is the operation in administering a reinforcer by the experiment. Reinforcers are stimuli that increase the rate of probability of the response that precede a particular behavior. Means वो stimuli जो हमारे एक desired behavior को increase करने में help करते हैं. So there are two major types of reinforcer in this, that are primary reinforcer and secondary reinforcer. Now primary, in this the word primary itself says कि पहले आने वाला जो बेसिक नीड होती है हमारी, सबसे पहले जो हमें नीड होती है. सो प्राइमरी reinforcer increases the rate of response that precedes in a presentation. So primary reinforcer is biologically important since it determines the organism's survival. वो basic needs के लिए बहुत important होता है. For example, food for a hungry organism. हमने दोनों experiments में we tested it on hungry animals. Like first dog was kept hungry and then the rat was kept hungry. So we knew that hunger is the primary basic need of the animal. तो उससे हमें एक्सपेरिमेंट करने में ईजिली हमें कंडीशनिंग्स पता चल गई थी. अदर प्राइमरी नीड्स आर फूड, शेल्टर, water for human beings and other animals also. Now coming to secondary reinforcers. Secondary means additional, या किसी चीज़ के बाद वाली additional needs. So secondary needs is one which has acquired characteristics of reinforcers because of the organism's experience with the environment, how he interact with the environment, how he experience various things from the environment. Like money, praise, grades are secondary reinforcers for human beings and other organisms. Now the second process is extinction. Extinction basically means disappearance of a learned response due to the removal of reinforcement from the situation in which the response used to occur. This means that कोई एक रिवॉर्ड जब मिल रहा है इंडिविजुअल को, after presenting it many times, suddenly it is being disappeared. So when the reward is being disappeared, slowly and gradually the individual will have disappearance in that learned response. वो जो response उस individual ने सीखा था वो धीरे धीरे भूल जाएगा and he will forget what he actually learned. But the second part is extinction is resistance to extinction, which says that it means that even though the learned response is now not reinforced, it would still continue to occur sometimes. However, with increasing number of trials, without the reinforcement, the response strength gradually diminishes and ultimately it stops occurring. This means that resistance to extinction, इवन तो जब हमारा रीइंफोर्समेंट या रिवॉर्ड हमें मिलना बंद हो जाएगा, लाइक रैट को अगर हम फूड देना बंद कर दें फॉर सम टाइम, उसे फिर भी उम्मीद रहेगी कि या ही इज़ गोइंग टू गेट द फूड आफ्टर प्रेसिंग द लिवर. Still the individual has that hope that yes we are going to get a particular reward. तो फिर भी वो behavior छोड़ेगा नहीं. He will keep on repeating, keep on doing that in hope that yes he is going to get some reward. But जब काफ़ी trials के बाद उससे वो reward नहीं मिलेगा, जब काफ़ी trials के बाद rat is not going to get the food, तो after a point he will get tired and stop pressing the lever. वो behavior बंद कर देगा. वैसे ही in particular individual also, after presenting that trying that trials after many times, the person will stop doing that particular behavior and वो धीरे धीरे gradually वो behavior जो है बंद कर देंगे. But for initially for some time they will keep on trying, कि उन्हें लगेगा कि हाँ मे बी हमें करने से reinforcement मिलेगा, reward मिलेगा, तो हम इसको करते हैं, we should give it trials. So this is what is resistance to extinction. Now comes generalization and discrimination. So the term generalization says that when a learned response occurs or is elicited by a new stimulus, it is called generalization. It is also known as the phenomenon of responding similarly to a similar stimuli. For example, a child has learned the location of jar of a certain size and shape in which sweets are kept. Now, even when the child's mother is not around, the child will find the jar and obtain the sweets. This is the similar example that I gave, that बच्चा जो है जार का शेप एंड साइज रिकॉग्नाइज कर लेता है, एंड इवन इफ स्वीट्स जो हैं अगर उसी टाइप के किसी और जार में रखा है, देन ऑल्सो ही विल लोकेट द जार एंड फाइंड द स्वीट्स. Now discrimination is a response due to a difference. Discrimination response depends on the discriminating capacity or discriminative learning of the organism. So it is a sense of difference in the particular behavior. For example, हम छोटे बच्चों को सिखाते हैं कि they should be afraid of bad people. Like a child is conditioned to be afraid from a person with long mustaches and who wears a black clothes, or who is a bit scary. So person is conditioned to be scared from such type of person. In subsequent situation, when he or she meets a person dressed in black clothes and with beard, so it's very usual that बच्चा डर जाएगा. He or she will start being afraid from that person. छोटे बच्चे के सामने अगर वैसा कोई बच्चा आ जाता है तो वो सडनली अपने पेरेंट को ज़ोर से ग्रिप कर लेते हैं या उनके पीछे छिपने लगते हैं, बिकॉज दे आर कंडीशन कि सच पीपल आर स्केरी और दे आर नॉट गुड पीपल, इनसे दूर रहना चाहिए. बट सिमिलरली, if a child comes across a person who is in grey or white shirt or blue shirt, not in black, and is clean shaved, then that person will generalize his thought कि okay ये अच्छे अंकल या आंटी हैं, दिस पर्सन इज़ नॉट बैड, ही और शी इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू हार्म अस. तो वो उनसे फ्रेंडली वे में जाके मिलते हैं, उनके साथ जाके बात करते हैं, हंसते हैं, खेलते हैं. सो दिस इज़ हाउ दे जनरलाइज देयर कंडीशनिंग एंड लर्निंग टू देयर actual response. So this is the difference between generalization and discrimination. So the last topic for the video is spontaneous recovery. Now spontaneous recovery occurs after a learned response is extinguished. So suppose an organism has learned to make a particular response after getting a reinforcement, उसको वो conditioning हो गई है, and then the response suddenly extinguished, means एकदम से reinforcement या तो कम हो जाती है, and he reduces the response and it suddenly extinguished. So अब कुछ टाइम बाद, like after a particular time gap, जब हम उस particular individual से उस response के बारे में पूछेंगे, तो he will suddenly catch up that response and he will suddenly remember it कि okay, yeah, this was the response that I learned, or because of his conditioning. So it has been demonstrated that after lapse of considerable time, the learned or the conditioned response recovers and occurs to the conditioned stimuli. So the amount of spontaneous recovery basically depends on the duration of time lapse after the extinction of session. जो हमारी स्पॉन्टेनियस रिकवरी है, इट मेनली डिपेंड्स ऑन द टाइम लैप्स, कि कितना हमें टाइम हुआ है उस चीज़ को बंद किए हुए या उस चीज़ को रोके हुए. And it is mostly seen that the longer the duration of time lapse, the greater is the recovery of learned response. जितना ज़्यादा time lapse होता है उतनी ज़्यादा हमारी learned response होती है, because maybe due to a more time lapse we remember that particular thing. So this is it for the video. Now we will have a quick summary of what we actually covered in this video. That the first topic was conditioned and instrumental conditioning and operant conditioning, and B.F. Skinner's experiment, in which we have studied how he investigated the operant conditioning over the rat. Then we came upon the determinants of operant conditioning, which included types of reinforcement, which were negative and positive reinforcement, and schedules of reinforcement, delayed reinforcement, and number of reinforcement. Now, next topic was key learning processes, which included the major 5 key learning processes, which was reinforcement, extinction, generalization, discrimination, and spontaneous recovery. We also learned a difference between the classical and operant conditioning, which is which many times it comes as question in papers. So we'll cover the next few topics in the next video. Thanks for watching, and please like, share and subscribe my channel.